Have you ever felt the veil between worlds thin when sleep refuses to come? What if insomnia weren't a curse, but an invitation? A whispering call from something much deeper than mere restlessness? Prepare to unravel one of the deepest hidden mysteries of our existence. A revelation that can rewrite your understanding of rest time itself in the esoteric universe. This isn't just a video about sleep. It's a key to spiritual enlightenment, a dive into the ancient wisdom that humanity has forgotten. We'll discover how the ancient sages, holders of knowledge stored in forbidden texts, saw the body as a vibrant temple and sleep as a portal, not to oblivion, but to the reception of a cosmic energy that nourishes and guides us. We'll understand the true inner alchemy that occurs when we silence the outside world and connect with our deepest self. If this possibility resonates in your soul, if the thirst for authentic knowledge moves you, then allow this journey to begin. Like this video so this light can reach more seekers. Leave a comment sharing your first impressions or questions. And of course, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so that no future revelation is lost amidst the noise of the world. Insomnia, my dears, is often seen as an anomaly, a defect in the biological machinery. But what if it were, in fact, an emissary? A messenger of subtle planes, whispering truths that our daytime consciousness, entangled in the webs of concreteness, refuses to hear? Many experience the sleepless night as torment, a battle against time that refuses to yield to rest. But what if this struggle were initiation itself? The ancient Egyptians, the Siberian shamans, the Himalayan yogis, they all understood the nocturnal waking state very differently than we do. For them, a sleepless night was not a failure, but a sacred opportunity, a moment when the boundaries between the self and the cosmos blurred, allowing communication with spheres of ancient wisdom inaccessible by daylight. In nearly forgotten scrolls and enigmatic passages of forbidden texts, we find the idea that the body is a microcosm, a map of energetic rivers and hidden portals. They did not see insomnia as a problem to be cured, but as a symptom of a greater imbalance, a blockage in the circulation of cosmic energy, or even more intriguing, as a sign that the soul was ready for expansion, a profound inner alchemy that required wakefulness to be processed. Stories are told of Sufi masters who intentionally practiced night vigil, not to deprive themselves, but to open sensory and spiritual channels. They sought the liminal state, that ethereal point between sleep and wakefulness, where the hidden mysteries of the universe revealed themselves with greater clarity. It is not a state of exhaustion, but of super-awareness, of heightened reception. Imagine for a moment that sleep cycles, so mechanically defined by modern science, are actually rhythmic patterns of energy, portals that open and close in tune with cosmic movements. When these portals do not close, or when we are unable to fully enter them, it may be that our inner self is receiving an excess of signals, an overload of information from the unified field. The body, in its ancient wisdom, may be preventing us from sleeping to keep us receptive to these frequencies. This concept is not new. It echoes in Ayurvedic traditions that describe the exacerbation of vata as a cause of insomnia, an excess of air and ether that keeps the mind constantly moving, but also opens it to states of expanded consciousness. A restless mind, which cannot be stilled in the darkness, can be a reflection of heightened intuition, an awakening to the hidden mysteries that manifest when the outside world falls silent. What if, instead of fighting this wakefulness, we learned to navigate it, to decode the messages that reach us in these moments? What would these forbidden texts tell us about how the ancients interacted with these nights of forced lucidity? They didn't use pills, but rituals. They didn't seek to fall asleep, but to understand. There was a touch point, a key, that helped them transition between these states, not to shut down consciousness, but to harmonize it with the flow of cosmic energy. If sleep cycles are portals, Insomnia is the door that refuses to close, keeping us on a threshold where the veil between worlds becomes almost diaphanous. The ancient Egyptians, in their ancient wisdom, saw night not as an absence of light, but as the realm of Nui, who revealed the mysteries hidden in the constellations. Priests and initiates spent nights in sacred vigil, seeking a spiritual enlightenment that emerged from the darkness, transforming the waking mind into a direct channel to cosmic energy, where hieroglyphics of the universe became legible to the eyes of the soul. Consider the Gnostics, whose forbidden texts described divine vigil as a path to gnosis. They argued that the mind, deprived of rest, could transcend the material and access the pleroma. It was not punishment, but an inner alchemy, transmuting anxiety into the gold of consciousness. It was the body, in its ancient wisdom, forcing the spirit to unveil illusions and confront the truth. This persistent wakefulness, labeled a disorder by medicine, can be a forced awakening. Imagine cosmic energy in accelerated flow, recalibrating your system. Your body doesn't prevent you from sleeping. It prepares you for an avalanche of information, a direct download from the quantum field. Shamans, on their journeys, sought sleep, deprivation to expand their minds, travel between worlds, and interact with the spiritual. For them, the sleepless night was an invitation to the adventure of the soul, a portal to healing and prophecy, a recognition of the hidden mysteries that reveal themselves in the twilight of reason. What if your insomnia is your own initiation rite? What if the universe is trying to show you something that can only be seen when the conventional world falls asleep? What is the silence of the night, silencing distractions, trying to whisper? Perhaps it's not about closing your eyes, but opening them even wider to a reality that has always been there. The quest is not to fall asleep, but to understand what is revealed. The next step, perhaps, is not to fight this wakefulness, but to learn to read the stars that now shine within you. For if the stars dwell within you, imagine that rivers of light, invisible to the common eye, flow through the depths of your being. We speak of a nerve, the vagus, the wandering one, which ventures through every vital organ, from the brain to the heart, from the lungs to the intestine. Moderns see it as a biological thread. Ancient wisdom, however, whispered of it as a sacred channel, a river of prana or ki that harmonizes the dance of existence within your body. It is not merely a communicator. It is a translator, a living antenna tuning in to cosmic energy. Ancient thinkers, perhaps the authors of those forbidden texts we mentioned, did not call it vagus, but the golden path, or the serpent sleeping at the base of the spine that rises to the top. They understood that the fluidity of this river determined peace of mind and resonance with the divine. A blocked flow, a stagnation, and inner torment sets in. But a clear flow and spiritual enlightenment was a real possibility, not a distant. Myth. Think of the deep breathing practices, the monotonous chants of monks, the silent postures of yogis. These weren't mere physical exercises. They were keys to unlocking this inner river, to orchestrating an inner alchemy. By activating this channel, they not only calmed the spirit, but they believed could transmute dense energies into pure consciousness, cure ailments, and even predict the future. The hidden mysteries of health and extrasensory perception were, for them, intrinsically linked to the vitality of this inner wanderer. Symbolically, in some Egyptian traditions, the duat, underworld or inner world, was a subterranean river through which the soul traveled. What if this river, on its microcosmic scale, were the vagus nerve itself, navigating the depths of our unconscious, bringing truths and emotions to the surface? Or in the Andean civilizations, where Pachamama was the living earth, and the rivers were her veins, providing life. The vagus is, then, an internal, nurturing Pachamama, connecting each island of your body to a unified continent of consciousness. What is revealed when this river is unobstructed? What kind of information, ancient wisdom, Hidden mysteries is our spiritual antenna capable of capturing. It's not just about feeling good, but about what you become capable of feeling and perceiving. The vague, the wandering, is perhaps the very map of a journey we've only just begun to decipher. A bridge between the visible and the invisible, the earthly and the celestial. The next question then is, how can we navigate this river? And what portals does it await us to open? Navigation, yes, is the key. But like an experienced boatman, the ancient sage would not set out on the river without knowing its tributaries and secret anchorages. The body for them was not just a receptacle of flesh and blood, but a star map, a living temple studded with energetic constellations, points of power that pulsed with the same cosmic energy that animated the firmament. And among the keys to unlocking this map, touch, in its intention and precision, emerged as a forgotten art, an ancient wisdom transmitted in whispers. We think of touch as something trivial, a social gesture. But for those who unlocked the hidden mysteries of existence, touch was a universal language, a wordless prayer, a catalyst for transmutation. They understood that certain surfaces of the human shell were not merely skin, but portals, points of resonance where the intricate neural network met the subtlest streams of consciousness. Imagine the Egyptian priest anointing the head of the initiate, not by chance, but with a profound knowledge of where the oil and the intention behind it could awaken dormant centers. Or the tribal healers, whose palms on specific points of the body seemed to guide an invisible force that reordered the internal chaos. Why? Then, the subtle touch behind the ear, at the base of the neck, or over the center of the chest before drifting off to sleep. These are not whims, but echoes of precise knowledge. The mastoid area, for example, behind the ear, is a convergence point for cranial nerves and endings of the vagus nerve itself, an epicenter that, when gently stimulated, can send waves of calm through the nervous system like a rock thrown into a serene lake. The base of the neck, in turn, a portal where the spine meets the skull, is a crossroads of vital neural and energetic pathways, a command point for balance and stillness. And the center of the chest, the heart region, is not only the seat of emotions, but a rich nervous plexus with the vagus nerve branches, and where, symbolically, the inner alchemy of transforming passions into compassion and anxiety into peace has its cauldron. The ancients didn't need MRIs or clinical studies to intuit these connections. They perceived them through deep observation, meditation, and experimentation, codifying their findings in metaphors and rituals. There are indications in certain forbidden texts, or in fragments of papyri and tablets that have survived the passage of time and the wrath of forgetters, that these touch techniques were an integral part of broader disciplines aimed at spiritual enlightenment. They were not mere therapies for better sleep, but keys to accessing altered states of consciousness during sleep, allowing the soul to travel freely and gather ancient wisdom directly from the source. What kind of dreams were these then, induced by such intentional touch? And what truths did these dream states reveal about the nature of the vague, of consciousness, and of the universe that inhabits us? The journey is only beginning to unfold. This search for truth hidden within the veil of sleep was no mere reverie. Ancient civilizations, possessors of an ancient wisdom that we barely grasp today, understood sleep as a sacred threshold, a chamber of initiation. In the temples of Asclepius in Greece, or the sanctuaries of Serapis in Egypt, seekers went not only to heal their bodies, but also to receive oracles and visions. They practiced incubatio, a form of dream incubation, where the individual, after rituals of purification and preparation, slept in a sacred place, waiting for the gods or spirits to manifest themselves in dreams, bringing healing, advice, or spiritual enlightenment. This was not passivity. It was an active form of communion, a true inner alchemy of consciousness. The hidden mysteries of these practices lay not only in the temple symbolism, but in the profound understanding of the human capacity to transcend the ordinary during sleep. Some of the forbidden texts, those that official history preferred to forget or suppress, detail rituals and breathing techniques, sound techniques, and even the use of certain plant substances, perhaps, at times, an intentional touch like the one we discussed that served to tune the receiver. They believed that, upon reaching specific states of sleep, the soul detached itself, not as an escape, but as an expansion, capable of traveling through subtle planes and interacting with a network of pulsating cosmic energy, where all information and universal healing were available. This is not the amnesia of ordinary sleep, but a conscious journey, even if cortical memory does not fully retain it upon awakening. It is a state of heightened receptivity, where the being becomes a conduit for the influx of archetypal messages, insights into one's own existence, and potential energetic healings that permeate the fabric of the universe. As if the body, at rest, became a telescope for the inner stars, and sleep, the opening of the lenses. What kind of knowledge awaits in the midst of this dream portal, if we know how to activate it not by chance, but by intention? And what other dimensions of inner alchemy await us if we consciously explore the realm of dreaming as a true training ground for the spirit? If sleep is a portal, then what do we do to open it and keep it that way? It's not a random action, but a ritual. Let's think of the points, those conscious and repeated touches, not as mere gestures, but as vibratory keys. Ancient wisdom whispers that the body is not a mere prison of the soul, but a sacred map, a microcosm of the universe. Each point, each nerve ending, each energetic node is a link in an invisible web that connects us to the great network of cosmic energy. When touch becomes intentional and ritualistic, it not only relieves physical tension, but initiates a profound inner alchemy. It is a silent dialogue with the subconscious, teaching it to lower its defenses, to release the bonds that bind the mind to an incessant cycle of worry and wakefulness. The hidden mysteries behind these practices lie in the understanding that the body-mind is a living belief system. If we repeatedly send the command, through conscious touch and focused intention, to release and rest the subconscious, that obedient and powerful servant gradually internalizes this new programming. It is like rewriting an ancient scroll that contained only stories of struggle and anxiety, replacing them with narratives of peace and surrender. It is not merely a command, but a persistent, almost ceremonial persuasion. Let us recall the ancient healing temples, where priests and priestesses guided supplicants into states of trance and deep sleep, not through empty incantations, but through tactile rituals, sounds, and aromas, which prepared the body and mind for healing and spiritual enlightenment. Many of these secrets are veiled in passages of the forbidden texts, those that orthodoxy sought to seal away, fearing the individual's power to access their own healing without intermediaries. These ritual touches are not a modern invention. Chinese acupressure, marmas in Ayurvedic medicine, and hand-laying techniques in various esoteric traditions all point to a unified knowledge of the existence of resonant points in the body. The conscious repetition of these touches acts as a physical mantra, a trigger for the parasympathetic nervous system, inducing a state of relaxation that goes far beyond the surface of the skin. It opens portals to the psyche, allowing the turbulent waters of the subconscious mind to calm and reveal the treasures hidden within. By surrendering to this practice, the body not only finds rest, but the spirit finds fertile ground for regeneration. But what is the next step after mastering the art of deep rest? What other layers of programming await to be unveiled once the doors of perception are opened and the mind becomes a silent receptacle for the truths that cosmic energy wishes to infuse? The next step, my dear seeker, is reintegration itself. For the modern evil of insomnia and so many other afflictions of the soul resides not only in sleep deprivation, but in the fracture of the primordial triad, mind, body, and spirit. Contemporary rationality, in its eagerness to dissect and categorize, has imposed an artificial split, transforming the human being into a complex of isolated parts. The body has become a machine, the mind a data processor, and the spirit, at best, a mere poetic abstraction, devoid of tangible substance. But the ancient wisdom, inscribed on the stones of Sumerian temples, Egyptian papyri, and Vedic sutras, never conceived of such fragmentation. For the ancients, health was the manifestation of harmony between the human microcosm and the vast web of cosmic energy. Illness was seen as a dissonance, an imbalance in the vital current that flows through all planes of existence. It is in the hidden mysteries of the ancient schools of wisdom that we find the keys to reuniting what was split. The forbidden texts, those whose reading was reserved for initiates, or that were systematically suppressed by orthodoxy, often detail rituals and disciplines of inner alchemy, processes not of transmuting metals, but of transforming the very essence of being. They narrate how the mind, freed from agitation, becomes a crystal-clear mirror into the depths of the body, revealing not only its physiological needs, but also the energetic entanglements that cause restlessness. Insomnia, in this context, is not an enemy to be fought, but a herald, a messenger of the spirit, crying out for attention, for recognition of its unity with body and mind. It is an invitation to a deeper spiritual enlightenment, a call to the awareness that every fiber of one's being resonates with the universe. Reconnection is not a distant mystical concept, but a tangible practice. The ancient Egyptians, for example, did not separate medicine from theology. Their priest-physicians treated the body through induced dreams in sanctuaries, where the spirit, in its nocturnal freedom, revealed the necessary cures. Similarly, Hermetic and Gnostic teachings, many of them relegated to the forbidden texts, describe the body as a sacred vessel, a temple where the veils between the material and the ethereal are extremely thin. True inner alchemy, then, is the art of harmonizing these frequencies, of realigning the energy centers, allowing cosmic energy to flow unhindered, restoring not only sleep, but full vitality. And once this harmony is established, when mind, body, and spirit dance in unison, what new realities will unfold? What other veils will be lifted, revealing what lies beyond ordinary perception? The journey has only just begun for the inner. Universe is as vast as the cosmos outside. The journey has only just begun, for the inner universe is vast as the cosmos outside. How do we navigate its boundless expanse, particularly when our rest seems lost? Here, ancient wisdom guides us, not through rigid doctrines, but practical keys whispered from epics when humanity conversed intimately with the unseen. These are not tips, but pathways forged by alchemists of the soul, designed to unlock hidden mysteries of conscious repose, transforming fragmented sleep into spiritual illumination. First, embrace twilight's sacred passage. Before slumber, consciously disengage from the day's clamor, shedding its grip. Let anxieties dissolve with the setting sun. True rest is not cessation, but profound silence within, where cosmic energy reorganizes, free from turbulent thought. This quiet surrender, known by shamans, remains a timeless precursor to visions. Next, sanctify your sleep space. Is it a room or a temple? Egyptians aligned chambers for energy. Transform your resting place into a haven for pure intentions, a crucible for inner alchemy. Remove digital distractions. This sacred demarcation invites a different presence, resonating with Earth's hum. This threshold creation, found in forbidden texts, is truly for your innermost temple. Then, the breath. Do not merely breathe. Experience it. Let your awareness ride each inhalation and exhalation, the fundamental rhythm of the universe echoing within you. Ancient schools, whose deeper teachings and fragments of forbidden texts describe specific breath patterns for altering consciousness, drawing in raw, restorative cosmic energy. This direct current to the boundless source makes rest an active engagement with the divine, a conduit for deeper spiritual illumination. Finally, set your intention. Before descent, seek not oblivion, but revelation. Seers of Delphi and Asclepius. Dream priests incubated dreams, planting questions into subconscious darkness. Program your journey through the hidden mysteries of the dreamscape. The night is a vibrant realm. Conscious intention transforms sleep into an expedition into ancient wisdom, bringing forth new vigor. The deepest rest is not an end, but a beginning, a gateway to your boundless self. The very ground beneath your chosen resting place, is it mere floor or consecrated stratum? Ancient peoples, long before fractured knowledge, understood Earth pulsed with specific resonances. Megalithic whispers aligned not just with stars, but with telluric currents, raw cosmic energy beneath the world's skin. They steeped themselves in these forces. True rest and immersion ignited spiritual illumination. Consider the Egyptians, masters of sacred geometry. Their Per-Ankh, houses of life, were incubation chambers where priests sought prophetic dreams. These were not mere sleep spaces. They were amplifiers where stones resonated with hidden mysteries, crafted to strip mundane consciousness, facilitating inner alchemy. Their architectural books, now lost or forbidden texts, detailed alignments for the soul's nightly journey. And the Hellenic seekers at Asclepians? Ailing individuals sought incubation sleep, enkoimesis. Not elixirs, but sacred, cleansed space where divine touch, serpent symbolized, was believed to descend. The supplicant lay within the abaton, inaccessible inner sanctum, awaiting visions holding healing keys. This was never mere rest. It was an active pilgrimage into self, guided by ancient wisdom. Your personal rest altar echoes these venerable traditions. Dot beyond grand structures. Imagine the individual in their humble dwelling mimicking this design. Each textile, subtle scent, purposeful silence transforms mundane into numinous. This act asserts, sleep is not void, but a vibrant vessel. This personal rest altar becomes a nexus for scattered cosmic energy absorbed, allowing it to coalesce and ignite inner alchemy's subtle fires, not merely repairing the body, but refining your very essence. What revelations, then, might await in your chamber's sanctified stillness? What truths, long veiled by the waking world's clamor, might finally unfurl? The true forbidden texts are not in vaults, but inscribed upon reality's fabric, legible only to the quieted mind. As you consecrate your space, you prepare for a subtle awakening, a shift in perception, unlocking hidden mysteries, revealing pathways to deeper spiritual illumination, transforming nightly slumber into an intimate oracle of ancient wisdom. The curtain has barely begun to twitch, revealing the first glimpse beyond. But what of the temple within, the fleshly vessel you inhabit? Your very form, a meticulously crafted reliquary, also holds its abaton, its inaccessible inner sanctum. For centuries uncounted, long before modern mapping of the human form, the custodians of ancient wisdom discerned invisible currents, life-giving streams coursing through the body's topography. They spoke not of nerves, perhaps, but of nadis, meridians, marma points, precise loci with a veil between tangible and ethereal fins, inviting conscious interplay. Consider the intentional touch, then. Not a casual caress, but a focused, almost reverent contact upon specific points. Imagine the anointing oils of ancient Egypt, or the precise thumb pressure applied by a Vedic healer upon a marma point. Were these merely physical acts, or were they keys precisely turned to unlock deeper chambers? The whispers of the forbidden texts, narratives often deemed too potent for the uninitiated, hint at such precise gestures designed to awaken dormant energies, guiding the seeker's hand. This is no mere manipulation of tissue. It is an inner alchemy, a conscious engagement with the very currents orchestrating your being. When you lay a palm upon the throat, or gently press behind the ear, or along the clavicle, are you merely touching skin? Or are you, with deep reverence, whispering to the primordial pathways that govern your breath, your heart's rhythm, your deepest responses? These are the silent conduits, often overlooked, through which the scattered threads of cosmic energy seek to flow and coalesce, forming coherent patterns within. The vagus, that wandering nerve, is but one modern nomenclature for what the ancients understood as a primary channel for subtle vitality. Through consistent, mindful application of this ritualistic touch, you are not just calming a restless mind. You are directly engaging the deep architecture of your spirit. You invite the body's innate capacity for self-regulation to awaken, to harmonize, to retune itself to a forgotten frequency. This deliberate connection begins to unravel hidden mysteries, secrets held not in dusty scrolls, but within the very pulse of your own life force, ready to be read. Each such touch becomes an incantation, a tactile prayer extending beyond the superficial. It is a profound act of self-recalibration, shifting your internal landscape from disquiet to profound resonance. Through this tactile devotion, this daily ceremony of self-communion, you perceive the intricate dance of energies shaping your reality, leading you, inevitably, towards a deeper spiritual illumination. The map to hidden dimensions lies not just in the stars above, but in the sacred geography of your own flesh. What deeper truths, then, might this sustained, intentional contact with your own hidden currents unveil as the body itself becomes the conduit for cosmic whispers? And yet, even as you cultivate this sacred inner garden, what shadows lurk at its periphery? The incessant clamor of the world, broadcast through glowing screens and digital echoes, seeks to usurp the quietude you strive for. To truly embrace the path of inner alchemy, one must learn the art of turning away, disengaging from the siren song of external stimulation, especially as the day wanes and the veil between worlds thins. Consider the ancients, whose nights were governed not by artificial luminance, but by the moon's gentle glow and the stars' distant gleam. They understood sleep not as mere cessation, but as a profound journey, a vital portal. Before the advent of the glowing rectangle, humanity's descent into slumber was a gradual process, a natural deceleration. The stories whispered around, dying embers, the quiet contemplation beneath the vast, silent canvas of the night sky. These were the precursors to a sleep meant to be fertile ground for visions, for insights, for the integration of fragmented self. What happens then when the eyes, the very windows to the soul, are bombarded with a maelstrom of light and sound, of news and narratives, just moments before they are meant to close? It is akin to attempting a deep-sea dive while still clinging to the surface, buffeted by endless waves. The mind, agitated and overstimulated, struggles to release its grip on the waking world, denying itself passage into those deeper currents where genuine spiritual illumination can be found. The ancient wisdom, often encoded in esoteric symbols, daily life, and what modern scholars might dismiss as forbidden texts or mere mythologies, speaks profoundly of the threshold state, that liminal space between waking and dreaming. Consider the mystery schools of old, where initiates were guided through specific pre-sleep rituals, not for rest, but for visionary insight. It is here, in this fertile twilight, when the external chatter is silenced, that the mind, freed from the tyranny of external input, becomes a receptive antenna for subtle frequencies, for the gentle influx of cosmic energy. Imagine trying to decipher the delicate script of the universe while 1,000 digital voices clamor for your attention. This intentional, turning off the external world before bed is not merely a modern health recommendation. It is a resurrection of a fundamental spiritual practice, a lost art for accessing hidden mysteries. It is about honoring the sacred rhythm of consciousness, allowing the mind to naturally unfurl its deeper capacities. For how can the soul embark on its nightly pilgrimage? How can it engage in its profound inner alchemy if it is still tethered by 1,000 bright threads to the chaotic bazaar of the waking world? What revelations, what forgotten fragments of self, what deeper spiritual illumination might truly await discovery in a darkness untroubled by digital phantoms when the internal eye is finally allowed to see? This is the true return to the wellspring of ancient wisdom, transcending the mere reading of any forbidden texts. It is an act of profound inner alchemy, a silent communion with the very fabric of cosmic energy. What hidden mysteries might yet unfold when we consciously surrender to the night's embrace, seeking true spiritual illumination, not in external light, but in the deepest darkness within? What forgotten truths await your awakened inner eye? Share this journey with those who seek more than mere sleep, and subscribe to unravel further paths to profound knowing. For a deeper dive into unlocking your dream consciousness, watch our next video on decoding the language of dreams.